welcome to Broken Alaska.
It was before dawn, and Margaret Hall was already in her deer stand high up in the forest around Broken Alaska. Clouds covered the sky, blocking out the full moon she knew was out there. She'd strapped herself to the tree so she wouldn't fall out of the stand, and was tucking her sleeping bag around her shoulders to keep warm when she heard something in the distance. It sounded more like a bear than a deer, but she waited. Silently, she slipped the top of her body out of the sleeping bag, picked up her rifle, and checked the safety before holding it lightly across her chest. Margaret could hear branches cracking as the animal got closer to the tree. She sensed it more than she saw it when it finally reached the small clearing to her left. It was a shadow, a massive tall thing, and it walked on 2 feet, its long arms dangling by its sides. Margaret held her breath when she saw the massive shadow of the creature lurking below her tree stand in the dark. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. A slight breeze rustled her hair as it passed, and within seconds Margaret saw the animal tense as her scent hit him. Suddenly a patch of sky cleared, and the full moon shone down like a spotlight into the clearing. Margaret saw the creature staring up at her. It was at least 10 feet tall, and covered head to toe in thick hair. Its dark eyes, as large as teacups, narrowed as it began to lurch toward the tree. Margaret, a seasoned pro not disposed to flights of panic, lifted her rifle and shot once, twice, as the creature drew near. The bullets seemed to graze off his shoulders as he ran in her direction. Margaret Hall tried to stand as the creature barreled down her tree stand, but was held back by the straps that tied her to the tree. She braced herself and clutched her gun to her chest as the animal collided with the giant spruce. He let out a terrible howl as his long arms wrapped halfway around the tree trunk, and he leaned his weight back and forth as he began to push and pull the tree. Margaret hollered into the night as she felt the tree begin to sway, her body rocking back and forth with each tug of the creature below. As his pace quickened, her tree swayed like it was in a hurricane, and Margaret saw the sky and the ground alternately flashing before her eyes in rapid pulses. Her homemade granola, her backpack, her camouflage face makeup, her ammo, her water bottle all flew into the air, but Margaret remained in her tree stand, strapped tight to the trunk of the mighty tree as it rocked. Finally, the creature stopped rocking the massive Sitka spruce. Margaret heard him panting as he backed away from the tree. She looked down at him, and he looked up at her, and for the briefest moment, their eyes met. Now, Margaret can't say for sure what that mysterious creature was thinking in that moment, but the way she tells it, she saw something akin to respect in his eyes. He stared at her, heaved a sigh, and maybe, just maybe, nodded a bit before turning and running back the way he'd come. The wind kicked up. The clouds quickly pulled close the curtain on moonlight, plunging the forest into darkness again. Margaret Hall was bruised and battered when she walked back to Broken Alaska the next day. She scoffed at the help her neighbors offered and was back on the river the following week, guiding a bunch of tourists from Illinois down the frothy Jackhole River. If you see Margaret down in the Twisted Dinghy one night, ask her about it. She enjoys telling the story of the night she met the giant creature of the forest. Offer to buy her a beer or 3, and she'll even act out the way the creature howled and snarled as he tried to shake her from that tree. You can almost imagine being out there with her. But as the evening draws to a close, you'll notice Margaret gets a little quieter, a little pensive. She'll get a faraway look in her eyes, and you'll know she's thinking about him, respecting his strength, his survival. Margaret Hall fell a little bit in love that night.